As you know, I get a lot of emails. People are very kind. They send me their thoughts, their news and their information. And one of the things a lot of people send me are links to videos. Unfortunately, because I'm quite busy now, what with trying to disseminate all the information about what's going on and thinking about the videos and the monologues that I have to make and the interviews that I've structured and trying to find people to come on the channel and all of those sort of things, as well as trying to find some land and actually enact the things that I talk about, like eating wholesome food and going to the farm shop and getting the water nice and clear and all of that. I don't really get a lot of time to look at a lot of the videos that people send me, and they do send me a lot. One of the other important things, I think, is reading. Reading is fascinating because you're reading somebody's thoughts in book form between two covers that's taken them a lot of thought and time to prepare and research and get. And I like to escape the screen as much as possible because obviously making the videos, I'm there editing and answering emails, I'm in front of the screen and under lights of LEDs and interviewing people, I'm under the screen. And you can take a book, an ordinary, natural, everyday printed book, out and sit on a park bench and enjoy the countryside or the air around you, the environment, whilst reading. Or if it's cold and miserable, you can sit inside and you can just observe a book. And I've been reading a number of books and people have been sending them to me and I've been buying them and learning all about what's been going on. And it seems to me that everything that we know about in history of this, certainly in the last, 100, 150 years, has been a lie. Everything has been a lie. Those big major events that we hear about, that we've learnt about in school, is a lie. And now it's very difficult for me to sort of point out what these lies are because there's the problem with the platform that I'm on is they use this term misinformation, which is a bit of an unusual situation because information is just information. It doesn't mean that it's true or lie or good or bad. It's just information. So misinformation is almost like it's information that, well, didn't really have any substance, but it's information. But what they really mean, it seems to me, is they don't want you to know the truth. They don't want you to understand that this is a lie and that isn't a lie. Because the truth, you see, would upset the establishment. If we actually knew those things that were told to us as truths that turn out to be lies and people were upset about it, there may be ramifications for the authorities. So I can't tell you some of the things that I would really love to tell you because I get emails from people saying, Richard, you haven't told people about such and such. You haven't dived deeper. You haven't revealed this truth. And you go, yes, but I can't, you see, because the problem is they'll just shut me down, and they've tried to do it twice. I've got a plaque over here that somebody made that signifies I've had 2 strikes because I got very near the knuckle. And anybody who gets near the knuckle, of course, they start to sort of do things like, in my case, unsubscribe the subscribers. You may find that you don't always get the notifications when I put up a video, and you may need to unsubscribe and resubscribe, or you may have found that you've been unsubscribed anyway. And also, as we're approaching, and I'm very excited and thrilled to be nearly up to 200,000 subscribers who've thought it was worthy enough to click the button to subscribe, and yet my average views are incredibly low, far, far lower than I was this time last year when I had about, 30 to 50,000 subscribers. So something clearly is going on, but I can't tell you the great depths of things. But if you think about the principal things in history, let's just think about some of those things that we've learnt about in history. For example, there were 2 wars, weren't they, that seem to have started. Makes you wonder who funded them, does it not? Then there were things like Spanish flu or the 1918 flu, influenza, that we've all been told was done by infectious diseases. And then, of course, there was the JFK thing and 9/11 and moon landings. And then there was a Holocaust and in the war. I'm getting my dates in the wrong order, but you can work it out yourself. And then we had that terrible advert campaign in the 1980s for AIDS. Do you remember? In which this terrible thing was going to come along and we were all going to die as a result of it. Sound familiar? We've had something like that fairly recently. And in actual fact, the thing I was talking about, I'm having to dance around the algorithm now, the thing I was talking about at the beginning of this video about things not being as they might seem, it seems to me applies to all of those. All of those things are not quite as it is said to us. We continually being frightened about these infectious diseases, and there is the possibility of another one coming. And yet, when you read about it and you see the research and the logic about these things, they are perhaps not quite what they're telling you. Basically, everything is a big lie. And it's very hard to accept some of these lies because we have been trained through the mainstream media, through the government, through authority, through corporate Britain to accept these things as being true, that pharmaceuticals are incredibly good for you, when we might think that's perhaps not the best way of living, that actually organic, healthy, natural food that hasn't got pesticides sprayed on it, insecticides, Roundup and things like that put on it might be a little bit more healthier for me, or indeed a lot more healthy, if it wasn't for the fact that it's the toxins in the environment, the spraying of the skies, the absurdity to say, oh, but global warming, we need to protect the planet from the sun that's actually the giver of life, but we're also going to have a policy in which we capture sunlight through solar panels, and that will provide us with the power we need. Except you're spraying the skies to dim the light to stop the sun reaching the solar panels. Where is the logic in all these things? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. The lies that are being told by our government, of course, government actually, or parliament means speak lies anyway. The fact that the government thinks that it's our masters when of course it's not our masters. They've taken that position themselves and they pretend to be our masters. And for some reason, we all believe it. Where's the outrage? Where's the outrage from everyday people out there who are beginning to slowly realise the great harms that have happened to them, the big harm? Are they slowly becoming aware now that things are happening? Where's the outrage that we have been lied to on all of these things, that we're constantly living under this? The judicial system that is supposed to be separate, shall we say, from government, except that it seems to be operating kangaroo courts with the councils when it comes to things like council tax. The taxes that are being taken from all of us and then being lied to about the fact that it's not actually there to provide the death of innocent men, women and children in different parts of the world in what you might call wars. Yes, we know that our money is being taken away. We've not voted for it. We've not part of it. We're completely innocent to it. And yet these big authorities, these corporations that are pretending to be government, they're all lying to us. The events in history are not what you think they are. The illnesses that are supposed to be there all threatening, not what you think they are. The remedies to those that the authority provide, not what you think they are. We've been lied to so much. It's about time we began to be outraged by this, stand up separately and turn our backs on all of these. After all, if you turn your back on a tyrannical leader, you end up leaving him alone, isolated. And maybe that's what we should do. But do take care, and thank you so much for watching. And be aware of all the big lies.